o'clock on this July 3rd. It is a Friday Eve.
Woohoo!
Thanks so much for joining us on ARC Rochester. I'm Abby Fridmann.
And I'm Dan Schrack. We have a jam-packed 2 hours to get through this morning, so let's run down what we have brewing for you.
All right, so coming up today is expected to be the busiest travel day for the upcoming holiday weekend. So today we're getting a check at everything you need to know before you take to the skies or hit the roads. We're going to talk to representatives from AAA for more.
Yeah, and then later we have officially made it halfway through the year. So this morning we are getting a mid-year check and asking the question, pivot or power through for business owners?
Okay, and then it wouldn't be the 4th of July without the fireworks. This morning we're being reminded of how to keep the whole family safe while still having fun with some of those, what did they call them earlier? They're not fireworks that we're talking about, like sparklers and stuff.
Oh, what did they call them?
I think they're called sparklers.
Oh, yeah. What did you call them?
We'll get to it. It's
okay.
Fine. It's fine.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
All right.
It doesn't matter.
Sidetracked there. Before all of that, let's get a check of the forecast because we are seeing some pretty gloomy conditions out there right now. Meteorologist Marty Snyder with a look at when we could see some sunshine and when the good sparkler weather returns.
Yeah, I think overall it is going to turn really nice as we head into the weekend. And even today, we're starting off with at least some cloud cover, a couple of breaks in the clouds. You can see some of those breaks that are working in, but maybe a story where we see those clouds fill in a little bit at times as we go through the morning. I think longer term, we will open up. We will get into some sun. The one thing we have to consider is towards the middle of the day and early afternoon, may see another round of showers and thunderstorms pop up and briefly impact some areas south and southeast of Rochester. Not going to be all that long in duration, but just given the fact folks are going to be outside today, just keep in mind that chance will be there.
What are you doing?
I'm Marty's talking and I'm marching to Yankee Doodle went to town riding on in my head. I don't know.
Okay.
Somebody's really
like 76
excited.
trombones or something.
I mean, we could do that one too. All right. Thank you, Marty. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, let's go off the top now and start with some of the things that have piqued our interest. I'm going to kick things off this morning. A clinic in Scotland is asking people to stop showing up unannounced with jars, cups, and bottles of urine. Staff at the clinic say they've been overwhelmed by a high volume of unsolicited samples, some arriving in whatever containers people have handy at home. None of them requested, and all of them unhelpful. But a new policy is making it clear, unless a doctor or nurse specifically asks for a sample, the clinic will no longer accept it. Thank goodness. Take a look at what the clinic posted on social media. We are no longer able to accept urine samples unless they have been specifically requested by the practice. This change is necessary due to the high volume of inappropriate or unsolicited samples being submitted. Medical staff say the sudden tsunami of walk-in samples is disrupting daily operations. That's because testing takes time. So does tracking down the patient and asking, why did you bring us your pee in the first place? And if it was dropped off in something from the kitchen cabinet, it may be contaminated and useless anyhow.
Like a travel mug?
Yeah, like don't bring us a coffee cup with saran wrap on top.
Ew, oh.
It's not going to work, and it doesn't transport well. A spokesperson for the British Medical Association Scotland says urine tests need context. That means a medical assessment has to come first. Otherwise, interpreting the results can be difficult or misleading, not to mention the extra costs when unnecessary tests are run. And believe it or not, this is not isolated. Multiple doctors have told British news outlets that other clinics are dealing with this same thing. Some have posted signs in their offices, others sending messages to their patients. Stop bringing your pee. Don't drop it off without permission. It's not welcome. According to reports, the people behind most of these samples are the elderly patients who think they may have a urinary tract infection. And rather than book an appointment, they try to skip ahead right to the testing phase. I mean, props to them for getting on top of things.
No, I'll skip a few steps.
Yeah.
Save them the work.
But doctors say that's just not necessary. It can lead to the wrong treatment if the test is interpreted without a full picture. The Royal College of General Practitioners has guidelines in place and say patients need to be seen first. Only then should they be given a sterile container. Sterile container. Sterile container.
Not this.
Not that. Designed to keep your urine sample safe and clean. Staff at the clinic hope the new policy will clear up any confusion and help them prioritize care, or at the very least, reduce the number of unmarked liquid-filled containers being left at the front counter.
It's making my skin crawl, honestly. Here's the thing. This is, I am not judging anybody who's done this. Zero judgment, whatever. It gives me the shivers thinking about all the video that we looked up this morning, trying to find something decent that we could put on the television.
What did we end up using? I didn't even look.
It was just public bathroom footage,
okay.
I believe. But you would not believe what's in the arsenal.
You really would not. There's a story, I guess, urine therapy, where you let it go and then you put it back in. And apparently
People are eating breakfast.
Okay, listen. I know they are. But you have done so much worse, okay?
In the 9 o'clock hour, okay?
Oh, please.
Okay.
Please.
I don't know if that's
Producer Ashley.
Okay.
All right, let's
All
move
right,
along.
We're going to move on. Another breakfast-appropriate story here. We're going to head to a very tiny rural village in Serbia. Not the typical place that makes headlines all the way here in Rochester, New York, but locals say they've uncovered the final resting place of the world's first documented vampire.
Ooh.
Kind of. You're acting surprised. You sent me this story. Stop. The original burial spot for a man named Peter Blaževico was lost over time, probably because of weather, erosion, and the passage of centuries. But for those who live in the village, it's been their mission to find the original grave site. They brought in a dowser, somebody who uses a dowsing rod to detect energy nodes or disturbances underground. It might sound a little strange, but it's a method that's often used in old folk stories. Now, according to them, this dowsing rod reacted very strongly near one of the weathered gravestones. Now they're saying they believe that was the spot where this guy, Peter, was once buried. So, once buried. Buried. All right, so hear me out here. The summer of 1725, people were living large. That's not true. The people that lived in the village were under the impression that somebody was rising from the grave in the evening. One by one, people started to become sick, and then they died. Before they died, they said it felt like somebody was sitting on top of their chest while they were trying to sleep. Others say they saw this guy, Peter, walking around town weeks after he died and was buried, right around the same time that all of these people started dying as well. So word spread, and eventually, desperate for answers, the villagers dug this poor guy up out of his grave. They say that his face wasn't sunken in like you might expect. Apparently, they used the word fresh for how he looked. And this part is graphic, so I'm sorry. The villagers decided to drive a wooden stake through his heart to make sure that he was actually dead. When they did that, again, red blood poured from his mouth and his ears. In their minds, that confirmed that Peter was indeed a vampire. And what happened next was straight out of a horror movie. They took his body, dragged him from the grave, and burned it right there out in the open. They believed that fire was the only thing strong enough to destroy whatever he had become. Once his body was reduced to ash, they scattered his remains into a nearby lake to make sure he could never rise again. So here's where it gets interesting, more interesting, I guess. The story was covered in an Austrian newspaper because the AP wire was really, really fast back then too. But things got lost in translation, and apparently the word that the villagers were using to describe him was troublemaker, and it loosely translated to evil person or restless spirit. However, somehow, some way, shape, or form, it became vampire out there in Austria, and it stuck. So the vampire legend was born. Now we have modern science, and it turns out the villagers were likely dying from disease, and even in some cases, anthrax poisoning. Now, the folks in the village are leaning into this legend, not to instill fear, but rather to spark interest instead. They say that their region is full of forgotten stories and ancient rituals and traditions that could bring tourists to their area. It's a village of only 800 people.
Okay.
So now they're saying, we're ready. Come on in. come and visit us. They're encouraging everyone to enjoy this very local history. And they also say maybe bring a few cloves of garlic just in case you need it.
Okay. I want to go do PR for this village because I've got a great idea.
Yeah? What's your idea?
Yeah, listen, okay? So you've got 800 people in town, right?
Yeah.
Listen, we need to have a setup so anytime there are tourists who come in, there's a vampire making its way around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely. And you not only you're getting up to go to the bathroom and you see a vampire walking up and down the street. And you've got a staged production outside the hotel windows so you can see the vampire, take somebody down.
Is like the Genesee Country Village and Museum.
Yes. Yes, turn the whole village into the Genesee Country Village and Museum. Yes.
Listen, I support it.
I think it would be spectacular. Also, when they were saying it felt like somebody was sitting, I'm thinking to myself, they probably had pneumonia or something.
Yeah.
That's why it felt like somebody was sitting on your chest.
I just think it's so funny that, this is, what was it, 1725? They're like, it's got to be something else.
Yep.
It can't just be a cult. I saw this guy walking around town. And you think about it, it's not like the streets were well lit. They're saying that they're seeing him walking around town in the late evening.
But they also didn't have the medical science we do, and a common cold was deadly back then.
Poor Peter. My gosh.
Poor Peter.
It made me so sad reading that and thinking about it too. So now they have this old burial spot where they believe he was exhumed, and then they scattered him in the lake.
Well, the other thing is they didn't embalm people in the 1700s. So he still had all those bodily fluids in him, still had blood. What if he were one of those people that they thought was dead, and so they buried, and turns out he's not actually dead. Yeah. They dig him up, and you weren't dead before, we're killing you now.
He's like, finally, they're digging me up,
yes,
thank goodness.
Yes, and then they drive a stake into his heart.
Breakfast conversation.
Breakfast conversation. Hey, stick around. We've got a lot more to come right here on ARC Rochester, including when we come back, we are checking in with Chris Lopez, who has struck a chord this morning, both on the field and on the stage.
Yeah, don't forget, take us on the go wherever you are. We're streaming live right now. Follow us on the 13 Wham YouTube channel and foxrochester.com. We're back after this.
this 4th of July weekend is sure to have a lot of events happening around town.
Yeah, one of them being the Red Wings and the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra teaming up for a night of baseball, fireworks, and music.
Hit that one out of the park.
I'm going to hit you out of the
Chris
park. How about that?
Lopez has been there live all morning long, previewing the event.
He's not even
batting
listening.
cage. I know he's not.
What's
Legit
up, guys?
not listening.
Yes, I'm here taking some batting swings. I got Dan Mason over there. Guest RPO conductor Matt Kramer. Dan is throwing me some balls. Guys, you guys got a huge weekend happening this Saturday. What's going on?
Oh, we're thrilled to be in town here. I'm guest conducting the RPO at what is our biggest concert of the year for audiences. It's on Saturday night after the ball game. RPO takes the stage for 60 minutes of music followed by fireworks. Could be a great time. And Dan, this is a busy weekend for you, obviously.
Big weekend. You know, we're thrilled to have you and the RPO back here again this year. It's one of the highlights of our season. Saturday, game time 6:05, and then immediately followed by the RPO, and then fireworks after that. And then, of course, we're home on the 4th of July as well. Game time 6:45, and we've got a big fireworks show on Friday, tomorrow night at 6:45, and then on Sunday, Bruce the Bat Dog bobblehead day, and Bruce will be fetching bats. But just can't wait to have you, Matt, and the rest of the RPO here for the big show on Saturday night. Get your tickets at redwingsbaseball.com.
Okay, guys, especially you, Dan. Oh, wow. Whiff that one. We got to go. Give me one more. We hit it over to the left side, third base. I got to ask you, you did this last year. You have so many events going on throughout the year. This one seems you're excited about, right? Big holiday weekend. You're combining baseball, orchestra, beers, fireworks, you name it.
Yeah.
What excites you about this?
Oh, this is one of our, this is one that we circle on the calendar every single year, the RPO show. It's become such an incredible tradition for our fans and for the orchestra and us to have two iconic Rochester organizations collaborating on one incredible night, and it's just something our fans love, and we look forward to it every single year. Can't wait for Saturday night.
And Matt, does playing in a stadium throw you off? We were talking about venues a little bit earlier and how some can be a little bit different than others in regards to how you play and how it affects you guys. You got about 70, 80 people that are underneath you. Playing in a baseball stadium, do you feel that that's going to go well?
This is like a home for us. We're here every summer. The orchestra is accustomed to the acoustics, and the energy is palpable. I'm more nervous about that first pitch I have to throw out. I think Dan's going to have to give me some pointers here.
Yeah, well, what kind of pointers? Let's say Dan Schrack was throwing out the first pitch. What kind of pointers would you give him?
Well, I don't think Dan will ever be throwing out a first pitch. I mean, I've offered him about 1,000,000 times, and he keeps chickening out. But anyways, so Matt, what I would highly recommend is if you have a glove, bring a glove, because it's a more natural feeling. And if you don't have a glove, then I'll just give you another ball, so at least you have something in your left hand, and then you throw with your right hand, just like that. And you're going to throw a strike, don't worry. And even if it's not what you expect, I can guarantee you it won't be the worst one I've ever seen in my life.
That's reassuring.
Matt, and I got to ask you, you're going to expose a lot of new people, and I kind of want to point this question more towards the kids who have never heard this kind of music before. How does that make you feel to kind of expose kids to something brand new, and maybe, just like you, they get a taste of it, get the bite, get the itch, and then eventually want to become a conductor like you?
Oh, of course, this is the importance of these kinds of programs in the summertime, is that we're outdoors, we're engaging with families and young people, and you never know. I mean, I was that kid in the concert hall for a young person's concert that heard an orchestra for the first time, a non-musical family, and here I am, a career as a conductor, and I'm appreciative for that every moment.
6:05, start of the game time. 8:30, roughly, I would say, is when you guys are going to take the stage, and then right after, cap it off with some fireworks. Where can people get tickets again?
redwingsbaseball.com, or give us a buzz at 423-WING.
Back to you in studio, Dan. You're never going to throw a first pitch. I repeat, never going to throw a first pitch.
I know. I'm wondering, though, does the RPO want me to come and sing my song, Lady Liberty?
I think that's 0 for 2. I don't think a first pitch is going to happen. And then I don't believe they'll let you take lead singer at all in the RPO? We'll actually ask that question coming up at about 8:35. Stay tuned here on Arc Rochester.
That's fair.
Oh, Lady Liberty.
All right, please stop. We got to go to commercial break. Save that for tomorrow.
Okay.
When we come back, we have weather trivia.
Marty Snyder will join us coming up after this.
Meteorologist Marty Snyder joining us now with a look at the cloudy conditions and our weather trivia too, Marty.
Yeah, that's it. It's trivia time. So, of course, kind of a hot weekend coming up for us. We've been talking about those near 90-degree readings we're anticipating. Well, we're going to talk about how many times we've hit 100 in recorded history in Rochester.
Okay.
So, and these records go back a while. It goes back to 1871.
Okay.
We're one of the longer periods of record. When you look at all the cities in the U.S., we have one of the longer periods of record compared to other cities in the U.S. So the question we have for today is how many times has the temperature reached at least 100 degrees in recorded history in Rochester? So here are your choices. We have 6, 9, 12, or 22 times.
Okay.
So this is how many instances since 1871
1871.
has that happened?
Okay. I feel good.
Okay.
I feel good too.
Okay, feel pretty confident?
I do.
But I also feel like this could be a trick question.
No tricks.
No? I don't know, Marty. I don't know. I feel
Would I
good,
trick
though.
you?
Well, see, I
Would
don't
I
know.
do that?
I don't know. I gave you cough drops this morning. That's all I'm going to say. Like, you know, be nice to me here.
Of course, of course.
We'll discuss it during the break.
Oh, boy.
But I think I know.
Okay.
You guys seem pretty confident.
I do.
I mean, yeah.
100 degrees does not happen often.
Not too often, no.
No matter which one of those answers is correct. Because 22 years out of the past, 150? I mean, that's
Well, this could be multiple times in a year, too. So you have to think, sometimes you'll hit 100. It may not be the one time you do it. You may, hey, next day, hit 100 again.
Yeah.
A couple instances of that, too.
Didn't think of it like that.
Factor that in, yeah. So I'll let you guys think.
Okay, I think
as we give the
I
forecast.
still think I know.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. We'll see.
That's a good one, Marty.
We'll give you a
all
test.
And if Mark McLean is watching right now, take note, because I could see him redoing this on accident if we get close to 100 this summer.
Yeah.
And then we'll be like, we already did this, and then he'll get all
next time we're
all
just not
sad.
going to tell him. Take note, Mark, and do this question again.
There you go. Then you'll have the answer by the time we give it. Yeah. But today is going to be a day it's going to be pretty comfortable. Nowhere near that 100-degree mark today. We'll be near 80 as we head into the afternoon. So we'll keep at least some sunshine around on and off. It's a story right now where a couple extra clouds will occasionally build in middle of the day into the early afternoon. Areas south and southeast of town may pick up a quick shower or thunderstorm, but that should be about it. What's left of any of the ones that we had throughout the overnight, they've now moved well to our east. A lot of that up through the Adirondacks, more so over towards the Mohawk Valley right now. So again, that's out of the picture for us, but we still have to watch some of that activity. It's just up to our north. Notice the north shore of Lake Ontario picking up at least a little bit of rain. We'll have to watch that one band as that comes by and may re-intensify as it passes south of Rochester. But for the time being, a little added cloud cover, some sun still trying to sneak in there as well. So overall, still not a bad start to the day and pretty comfortable out there. 68 degrees. Dew points coming in that lower 60s range. So it is down a lot compared to where it has been. So it is in a more comfortable range compared to what we have been seeing. And we're seeing a lot of temperatures hover in that 60s range right now. A lot of 68, 69, 70 degrees from Medina, Waterloo as well. Even Ontario and Dansville coming in at 71 for the air current reading. So we're seeing these numbers begin to move along fairly well. And the timeline for today, again, shows those clouds building a little bit for the short term. Now heading into the early afternoon, there's that one band as that re-intensifies mainly south of Rochester. So it's not going to be a lot of rain, not going to be all that long in duration, but could be that quick burst of rain that we see. And I just want folks to be aware of that since we are heading into the holiday weekend. Some folks I know are probably going to be out through the Finger Lakes. Just keep that in mind. Early afternoon, that chance is there. But notice how quickly it all just passes to the southeast. This one estimate has it even east of Binghamton by 3:30 this afternoon. So that's going to move out. And then after that, just clear sailing, clearing out overnight. Here's a look at the 4th. Not much happening there. Some beautiful weather. And good news, it's going to be pretty comfortable as far as temperatures go. 80 today. Independence Day, close to about 78 for a high then. So we pull back a little bit, but still, that's not bad. Just a comfortable day, low humidity. And there's that heat as it builds. Nowhere near 100, but it's going to be pretty hot. Not too far from 90 for either one of the upcoming weekend days. And we just kind of level off in that lower 80s, even upper 70s range into early next week. So really a lot of hope for a lot of nice weather coming up for probably the next week or so. And it may be a case where as we head through the 3-day holiday weekend, usually have one that's not all that nice. Well, this weekend, it may be a case where we see 3 pretty nice days for this holiday weekend.
Mark that on the calendar because next year that will be a question for our weather question.
Okay.
I just feel
rain-free 3-day stretch.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
What 3-day stretch last summer, was nice.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's been a good amount of rain.
We've been
across the
challenged
region.
there.
We have.
In that category. Yeah.
We have.
It's been.
I also want to put out a call to action for something we were talking about earlier today.
Okay.
Don't look so shocked.
Which story are we talking about?
Well, no, just people who have half days today. And then they're going on a long holiday weekend. If you're out there getting ready to leave for work and you only have to go in for a half day, what do? Email us and let us know. news@13wham.com, because we want those jobs.
That's a secret.
They're
not going to tell you what they're going to do.
Exactly. Yeah, no, we'll get zero.
It's like
emails.
the half days at school and everyone went in for a half day. Oh, it's nothing happening.
I know. You watched part of a movie and then
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cash.
All right, Marty. Thank you.
All right, don't go anywhere. Much more to get to this morning on ARC Rochester.
We're back on the other side of the break. 7:31 this Thursday morning. Thanks so much for sticking with us here on ARC Rochester. We're now taking you behind this story this Thursday morning as we continue to follow the conviction of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
Yesterday, a jury found him guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, and he faces up to 20 years in prison.
This morning, we're joined by Greg Rinke, the founding partner of Tully Rinke PLLC, for a legal perspective on this verdict. Greg, thank you so much for waking up and joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So I want to dive right in and begin with that verdict coming down late yesterday morning. What was your reaction to hearing that he's only found guilty on 2 of the 5 charges?
Truthfully, I was not very shocked. I thought that the government was going to have an uphill battle convicting him of sex trafficking or RICO. So really wasn't shocked.
So explain that a little further, if you don't mind, specifically that uphill battle part. What were they up against here?
Well, I think they were up against their own witnesses. The defense did a very good job in poking holes in the government's case by using text messages, emails, phone messages that showed that a lot of this and most of this was all consensual, freaky sex. Doesn't make it a crime, though. So I think the defense did an excellent job in poking holes in the government's case. And that's why I think you saw the defense not call any witnesses and not put Combs on the stand.
So is that it for the prosecution? There's no fighting back. Typically when if someone is found guilty of certain charges, there's an appeals process that can play out. But in this case, because it was coming from the prosecution, there's no more to their fight, correct?
There's no more to the government's fight on whether or not he's going to be convicted of any other crimes. However, now the government's fight turns to sentencing. And they're going to use all of this evidence that came in to try and show that the sentence should be enhanced over the sentencing guidelines because of all of this misconduct.
And those sentencing guidelines, sorry to cut you off, Abby, 20 years in total, 10 for each count. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. But he's not going to get anywhere near that. I think he could end up with somewhere. The sentencing guidelines are going to show probably between 2.5 to 4 years. I think there could be an enhancement on that based on the misconduct in this case. But it's also, you have to remember, he's also served, I think, 9 months already in prison. So that's going to count towards sentence. And as we all know, the judge remanded him back to jail, awaiting the sentencing. So all that time that he's in jail does count towards the sentence.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm wondering, for those who are unfamiliar, can you break down a little bit more some of these, the counts that he was found guilty on? Transportation to engage in prostitution. Can you put that into layman's terms for somebody who's thinking to themselves, I have no clue what that means?
Basically, all it is he transported a prostitute over state lines. In the grand scheme of things that he was charged with, not very serious, although it is a felony. And he will serve some jail time on it. But all it really means is he transported prostitutes over state lines.
Talk to us about the 3 charges that he was found not guilty on: the racketeering, the sex trafficking by force, and 2 counts, rather, of sex trafficking by force.
Well, I think the defense did an excellent job in poking holes in those charges by showing it wasn't force. It was consensual. These are individuals that traveled consensually. RICO is usually used for a business enterprise used for a crime. Usually we see it in mob type of cases. I think it was a stretch from the beginning in this case. And the government didn't prove that he used his business enterprise to commit crimes. Most importantly, I think the evidence that came in showed that this was consensual. These were individuals that consented, and the text messages, emails, phone messages at the time showed that it was consensual. So the government just didn't prove its case.
When it comes to some of the jury deliberations, I know nobody was in the room, and we don't have a crystal ball here to see exactly what was said and what was discussed. In your mind, do you think that it was a pretty typical amount of time for them to deliberate to come up with this verdict?
Well, in my experience, quick jury verdicts are good for the defense. So the fact that this was a fairly quick verdict, did show that the defense prevailed. But you never know what goes on in a jury room. It sounded like there may have been some infighting in the room based on some of the questions that were coming on, but that's fairly common. And that's the point of the American jury. You have 12 different viewpoints, 12 different backgrounds, but you can never really tell what goes on in that jury room because it's secret.
We're running low on time, but before we let you go, I want to talk a little bit about how this will move forward. As you mentioned yesterday, he thought because he was not guilty on the three most serious charges in this case that he may be released until sentencing, but the judge did remand him back to prison. Why is that?
Well, the judge thought he may be a threat to others based on the misconduct and based on the testimony that came in. So the judge viewed him as a threat. So that also may forecast, what the sentence could be. And what that would tell me is that it may be on the higher end of the sentencing guideline. I think the government is going to try and prove, and I think it's a good chance that he will be sentenced with aggravating circumstances based on the evidence in this case.
We want to thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for the perspective on that as well. Definitely some interesting facts as this continues to play out, and we'll see his sentencing soon.
Yeah, we hope to speak with you again sometime in the future. Thank you again, Greg.
Absolutely.
Time right now, 8:38. Much more to come this morning. When we come back, we'll check in once again with Chris Lopez, who is feeling pitch perfect this morning.
Hey, and don't forget, you can watch us on the go wherever you are. Arc Rochester is streaming live right now on the 13WAM YouTube channel and on foxrochester.com. Arc Rochester returns after this.
Welcome back. For the month of July, the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra will be playing all throughout our city.
Yeah, one stop they're making is Innovative Field this weekend to combine baseball, fireworks, and some stellar music. Chris Lopez has been there live all morning long getting the details. Hey, Chris.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm here with the man playing the stellar music, or at least conducting the stellar music, starting roughly at about 8:30. This is Matt Kramer here. I'm here with GM Dan Mason, the one who's, conducting the baseball, if you will. 6:05 start time for that Saturday game. They're going to be taking the stage at about roughly 8:30, give or take. Fireworks to cap the night off. Dan, though, you guys got a little bit more going on throughout the weekend, though.
Yeah, 4th of July tomorrow. We've got the big night at 6:45. The players will be wearing patriotic jerseys and hats, which we'll be auctioning off to raise money for Challenger Baseball.
Can you break down Challenger Baseball, though, what that is, in case people want to know?
Sure. It's for physically and mentally challenged kids in the Rochester area that play baseball. It's like their little league.
Okay.
And so we've been raising money as part of our intentional walk through Wegmans for all the kids in Rochester area that play Challenger Baseball. And tomorrow night we'll be raffling off those jerseys. And then, of course, one of the best fireworks shows of the year after the game tomorrow night. And then the big RPO show, followed by fireworks on Saturday night, game time 6:05. And then on Sunday, Bruce the Bat Dog will be here. We have his bobblehead giveaway, the first 1,000 fans. And then Bruce will be here fetching bats, and then he'll do a meet and pet after he fetches bats for about 4 or 5 innings.
How excited you excited to have these guys here taking the stage?
It's going to be great to have Matt and the RPO back. This is one of the highlights of our promotional season all year long. People always ask us, hey, when is the RPO coming to play? And it's Saturday night. That's when they're coming to play.
They're already setting up the stage in the background. I gotta ask you, you're taking the stage here. You're a guest, but you've really been with the RPO on and off 15 years though. Does it feel weird coming in to guest conduct as opposed to, your hometown is in Louisiana, and that's really where you conduct all of your music, but does it feel a little bit weird to come in and guest conduct somewhere?
It's just family here, I got to admit. I have so many friends that I've known for these 15 years that have been back, have conducted on every series of one kind or another with the RPO. This is thrilling because thousands of people in the stands, 2 great Rochester organizations working together, so this will be a highlight for me.
And is there going to be any music that people recognize that you were going to play? I remember last year they played the Rocky theme.
Oh, we've got some John Williams on the program. Perhaps our most iconic living American composer is Liberty Fanfare, Saving Private Ryan. A lot of patriotic music on the program as well. We've got a terrific singer, Kelley Levesque. She is marvelous. And then we've just got some great jazz standards and some R&B. It's a terrific 60-minute program.
Throwing the baseball out, first pitch, give me a calculation. What kind of miles per hour are we looking at?
I clocked it about 65, 70 miles, but that was back in my 20s. So we'll see what I can do now, but I'm going to get it across the plate.
60 or 70 miles per hour. We're going to go. That's a curveball, if you will. Dan is bringing over the bobblehead. I got to show this. Bruce the Bat Dog bobblehead. You said, what, first 1,000 people?
1,000 fans.
First 1,000 fans are going to be able to get it. Is this part of the starter package that you guys have with Bruce the Bat Dog at all? Or is this here an exclusive?
This is an exclusive for the first 1,000 fans that show up on Sunday, game time 1:05. And then, of course, we just got our Bruce t-shirts in. We just got them in yesterday. So those will be on the shelves in the team store starting tomorrow.
There we go. Thank you for having us this morning. 6:05 on Saturday. Taking the stage, 8:30, fireworks to cap it off. And I believe if you're sitting around the third base over there, you're going to get a 2 for essentially, right?
Yeah, you'll get our show plus the city's show. If it times out right, if the game ends at the right time, you're going to get 2 fireworks shows for the price of 1.
And there we go. That sounds like a beautiful night. Big time holiday weekend. Stay safe. I'm going to send it back to you guys in studio.
Chris Lopez, couple of things. Abby is holding our stuffed Bruce the Bat Dog.
Little baby Bruce.
Yeah, little baby Bruce that we have here on the Arc Rochester set. If Dan Mason is willing to give us one of those, we would love to proudly display that on the Arc Rochester set with our other bobbleheads. And then pitch this to Dan Mason because I think this is a great idea. We need to start to have merch with the Red Wings that is just a paw print. I'm thinking Red Wings t-shirt with a paw print just on the sleeve.
Yep.
Paw print magnets. that just say Red Wings below it, I really think people would eat that stuff up because this guy he's famous.
He's the best.
He's famous.
I would answer that, but I'm getting the good old rapola from producer Ashley. So I'm going to pitch that off camera and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm told that Ashley just said she's not rapping you.
He's shaking
Oh,
his
wow.
head.
Then Mike DiGiorgio, the executive producer of this show,
this guy.
got into my ear on line 3. He's saying, Chris, you got to wrap this, man. We got to pay some bills.
Separate lines.
Commercials.
No separate lines on an IFB.
It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, don't go anywhere. When Arc Rochester returns, we are giving you some advice if you plan to head out of town for the upcoming holiday.
Yeah, stick around. We're back after this.
$8:49, tomorrow is Independence Day, and if you're planning on heading out of town or even just out of state today, you might want to plan on giving yourself a bit of extra time.
Yeah, today's travel conditions are expected to be busy, both in the air and out on the road. So today we're helping you plan out the best time to get a move on. From what we're joined now by Mark Gruba from DiGiorgio. He is live at the Rochester International Airport for us this morning. Mark, always great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Abby and Dan, great to be with you guys as well. It's an exciting time, another holiday weekend. And once again, we're talking about record travel.
So I have a question about that. I feel like every year, at least for the past couple years, we've said it's record-breaking travel. It was like that for Thanksgiving. It was like that around the Christmas holiday. So why is it that so many people are traveling right now?
It's a great question, and you're right. You've got a great memory. Every time we get together and do this, I'm talking about record travel. Once again, we are looking at record numbers here this 4th of July holiday weekend. 72.2 million Americans will be on the move, 50 miles or more from their home, most on the roads, but many in the skies as well. And really, we've looked at it, and the best way to answer your question is Americans are prioritizing travel. Even with rising costs, even with inflation, Americans are saving in other areas of their life so that they can take this much needed time away with friends and family, especially around the holidays.
I feel like it's something that we have certainly seen a spike in since the COVID pandemic. I feel as if once the travel was kind of taken away from people for all intents and purposes, that once it came back, people said, never again, and I'm never letting a vacation pass me by, and taking every opportunity they can to go somewhere.
There's no question that factors into it, Dan. Americans, I think, felt what it was like to have that taken away. And now they're prioritizing time with friends and family, recognizing that you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So take advantage of it today now. And we're seeing evidence of that here at the airport this morning. Pretty steady crowd of people coming in at this hour. There was a large wave of flights earlier. And the good news, I checked the big board right before we started. Everything but one flight is on time. Just one delay at this hour here at the Frederick Douglass Greater Rochester International Airport.
That is good news for all of those travelers. Curious to know how things have been going with the Real ID and the process that goes along with that. We know those changes went into effect a couple months ago at this point. So has it been pretty smooth there at the airport?
I think that's a fair assessment. It's a great question. It's something that we're tracking at AAA. I would say the number to kind of pin down is about 90% compliance. The overwhelming majority of travelers are Real ID compliant. They have a Real ID, enhanced ID, or a passport. Remember, a passport trumps everything. You can fly anywhere in the world with a valid passport. So most travelers, somewhere in the range of 90% are compliant, have been compliant up to this point. And TSA has done a very good job of working with travelers to help them understand the requirements of the Real ID. Sometimes there's some additional screening. It might mean a little delay at the security checkpoint, but for the most part, things are going pretty smoothly.
Mark, quickly, we've covered flights. I want to talk a little bit about driving. For those who may just be heading down the thruway to visit Grandma at some point during the 4th of July weekend, when are the best times to be on the roads?
Well, right now, the early morning hours are the ideal times. Yesterday, the 2nd, this coming Sunday, the 6th, are expected to be the busiest days on the road this holiday weekend. Having said that, the morning hours are ideal for travel. Once you get past the lunchtime hour into those peak afternoon hours, you're going to see increased volume of cars and the greater likelihood that you could experience a delay on the roads. Our recommendation, Dan, you know it's coming. Pack your patience. Leave a little extra time for travel, understanding that it's part of the equation. There's an additional 1.3 million drivers on the road this year from a year ago this holiday weekend. 61.6 million Americans are road tripping for their holiday vacation. So if you're getting on the road today, you're not alone. There are more cars on the road this year.
Mark Gruba from AAA, thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate the effort in joining us today.
Great to be with you guys. Happy 4th.
To you
Same
too.
to you.
Hey, don't go anywhere. Much more to come on ARC Rochester.
We're back right after this.
Much more to get to this morning on Arc Rochester as we continue into the 9 o'clock hour. Stephannie Joseph will break down some of our top political stories.
Yeah, she joins us now with a preview of what we can expect at 9. Hey there, Steph.
Hey there, guys. In today's political pulse, the House GOP is on a time crunch ahead of a deadline to pass President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, but Democrats are pushing back. One of their concerns, cuts to Medicaid that could cause millions to lose their coverage. Coming up, I speak to an economics expert about what recipients should know and the potential impact on the healthcare industry. That's all coming up in our 9 o'clock hour. Arc Rochester returns after this.
Hey, it is Friday Eve. It is 9 o'clock, July 3rd. Thanks for joining us on Arc Rochester. I'm Abby Fridmann.
I'm Dan Schrack. That is meteorologist Marty Snyder. He's back once again with another check of the forecast as well as the answer to this morning's weather trivia. And for that, we were talking about how many 100-degree days there have been in all of recorded weather history in our area.
And those records go back to 1871, so we're looking at a pretty good length of time there. And you guys seem pretty confident that you
I'm feeling
might
good.
come close to it at least.
I was feeling really good, and then I got to thinking, and now maybe not so much.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it a go.
I have faith in you guys. All right, let's try it. So here's what our question was. And like Dan mentioned, we're looking back at how many times have we hit 100 degrees? How many calendar days have we done that since 1871? We have 6 times, 9 times, 12 times, or 22 times. What do you guys think?
I'm going to go with 22.
Okay.
I am. It's a really, really long time.
It's a long period of time, yeah. What about you, Dan?
22.
22? The answer is
6 times?
What?
That's it.
No.
Only 6 times.
Are you kidding me?
And the last time we did it was about 73 years ago.
What?
It was back in the 50s was the last time we hit 100 here in Rochester. The heat index has gone into the hundreds, but the actual air temperature.
I'm sorry.
okay.
Where's the weather data? I'm going to audit this weather data.
Okay.
Where is it stored?
Well, come on back. We'll take a look at it.
Okay, yeah, I don't.
Full audit.
6 times
Only 6 times it's happened, yeah.
in 150 years.
Yeah, last time I believe was 1953. There were a couple times in 1911 and in 1936.
Okay,
So those are the only 3 calendar years that we've ever hit that
Wow.
number.
Can you explain the heat versus heat index real quick? So,
Yeah.
we've hit over 100 with the heat index. Like, what does all that mean?
Because that's what we were guessing. We were guessing the heat index.
Oh, right.
That's
obviously.
definitely what we were doing.
Yeah, and what that is that's just, that factors into how the body copes with the heat. So when you have more, a higher dew point, higher moisture level in the atmosphere, it's that much more difficult for you to sweat away that moisture that's on your skin. And that's the process that cools you down. So when you have drier air in place, when people say, oh, it's a dry heat, it's not as bad. That kind of factors in there. When you have drier air in place, your sweat evaporates more rapidly and cools you down more effectively. A little disgusting, but
interesting.
So how do you?
Interesting, I
How is the heat index determined?
it's a long equation that goes into that. I should
Okay.
be able to recite it, but I can't.
That's okay.
But, it factors in the temperature, the dew point, and you put those together and run the numbers through, and the heat index is usually above the actual air temperature, as long as that humidity is up there a little bit. Sometimes,
Okay.
technically, in some of the Southwest where it's really dry, it can have a heat index that's actually below the air temperature.
Oh.
But this part of the country doesn't happen that often.
That is so
That's what it is,
interesting.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, my
Yeah.
mind is blown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
6
only
times.
6 times. Hopefully, we don't do it again this year. It's been a while.
Listen,
I wouldn't be.
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah. Well, we got some 90s this weekend, so it is going to warm up then.
This is true.
Yeah, and it's also time for the muddy, we're calling it muddy foot outlook, because I had to do some research. We have a bunny today.
Look at
and they have
this.
feet, not paws. But look at that little guy there waiting in the garden. Isn't he cute?
He's causing trouble. I can just tell.
I think so,
I think
yeah.
he's having
Thank
a snack.
goodness that's not our garden.
13.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, yeah.
Oh.
I know a couple of people.
McLean would be out there and
Yeah,
trying to take care
yeah.
of
Some
him.
people would have some issues.
How could you say no to that little thing?
You couldn't. You couldn't. I mean, you'd take the carrots. Go for it.
Yeah, cute little guy there. But today's one of those cases where we may see a shower or thunderstorm south of town, so we'll call it wet pause today. I think most of the day is going to be dry. For the 4th looks dry. For Saturday, Sunday, they look dry. Maybe a shower or thunderstorm into Monday. So overall, for the 3-day weekend, we're actually looking pretty nice for us. Usually there's at least 1 out of the 3 days when you see at least some precipitation, but at this point, we're on track to keep it fairly dry all the way through Sunday, so some good news there. Today, mainly dry for much of the day. Towards the middle of the day, noon, early afternoon, could pick up a little stray shower or thunderstorm. We'll get up to about 80 for a high during the afternoon. Any of those thunderstorms we have seen throughout the overnight up to this point, they've pushed well to our east. A lot of that's closing in on Albany right now. But you look over Lake Ontario, you can see some of that activity. It's just starting to drop down across the lake. We're going to have to watch that one line. It may just reinforce the cloud cover here in Rochester a little bit. You can see those clouds building in a bit more. Maybe a story where it fires up again as it gets south of Rochester. So that's a reason why it may just kind of skip over the immediate Rochester area as far as precipitation goes. But areas south could pick up a shower or thunderstorm this afternoon. 71 right now. A lot of places in that near 70 range. A lot of areas exactly at 70 to the west. And here's that timeline for today. Again, clouds build temporarily. There are those few showers, maybe a thunderstorm that pop mainly south of Rochester heading into the afternoon. And they move out really rapidly. So again, it's not going to be a total washout or anything like that. But just if you're through the Finger Lakes today, given the fact that we're getting into the holiday, a lot of people have today off. If you're outside, just keep in mind that chance is there early this afternoon. But then we clear out overnight. We keep some of that clear around for tomorrow. So looking pretty good for the longer term. Today up to about 80 for a high, upper 70s for the 4th, and then closing in on 90 as we head through the weekend. And it looks like temperatures mostly in the close to 80 range as we head into early next week. So really not looking too bad for that time frame either.
No, not at all. I'm super excited for the beautiful weather for the weekend.
Stoked.
Yeah.
Stoked. What time are we supposed to show up for the barbecue?
The barbecue? Oh, we're doing that with cousins. That's tomorrow. So that's like 5 p.m. I think.
That means we're not invited.
Yeah,
Did you just
was
pick up
that was that a subtle way of saying no? You guys can't. We're
It's not at my
we're
house,
doing
though.
that with other people.
Loud
Well,
and
can
clear.
you invite other people to someone else's event?
You know what? That's
Oh,
a good
it's
point.
not at your house?
No, it's not at my house. No.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
All right.
yes. Then absolutely you can. I mean, they would love to see us.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure you'd be welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh. All right.
You guys are family.
Listen, I have
thanks,
shown
Marty.
up uninvited to several parties.
Oh, I'm
in
sure.
my
I'm
life.
sure there's some stories out there too.
Time right now is 9:06. Much more to get to this morning on Arc Rochester. When we come back, we're talking 4th of July safety with RRH.
Don't forget, you can watch us on the go wherever you are. We are streaming live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel. Arc Rochester is back after this. .909 this Thursday. Thanks so much for sticking with us. There's a lot happening this holiday weekend. You've got cookouts, parades, but it's always the fireworks that seem to get people excited.
Yeah, people will inevitably set off their own fireworks and maybe even invest in some of those sparklers. So it's important to keep in mind that everyone needs to be safe.
Yeah, this morning we're joined by Dr. Keith Grams from the Emergency Department at Rochester Regional Health, talking safety. Doc, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. What are the rules of the road, if you will, for people when they want to set off their own fireworks, when they want to have their own firework display, when they say, the professionals can do the big show, but I'm going to do my own backyard show?
You just got to be careful. You got to follow the directions. You got to have enough respect for these, because even these things can cause some significant injuries. You just got to be careful and really kind of do some common sense.
So you work in the emergency department. I imagine that every year during the 4th of July holiday weekend, or even just around this time of year, you see quite a few injuries. Is that true?
Yeah, we get a few. Most of them will be more like along the lines of a burn, that type of thing. And every now and then, unfortunately, you have somebody that just made a bad choice and has a very bad and catastrophic injury. So.
Yeah, but safety with these things is really the key. What your advice? Do you just leave it to the professionals? Because in my mind, that seems like just the safest bet. Just go watch the show. Why try and do it on your own?
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact why people would pick that way, because, yeah, if you can, leave it to the pros. If you're going to do it yourself, again, it's just being careful. You got to have respect for this, because if you're not proper distance, you have some fire safety you got to be careful with. If you're beside somebody else that's not paying attention, there's a lot of things that can kind of go wrong with these things.
And age, too, I imagine, is a very big part of this as well. I believe it's state law that you can't be under 18. But when it comes to sparklers and stuff like that, kids may think, oh, this is fine. You know, it's sparkly, it's fun, but really should not be in the hands of kids.
Yeah, definite supervision. Putting sparklers in the hands of a child, that's kind of asking for some interesting downstream issues. Those burn almost like 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That can cause a burn really quickly. You just got to running around in a kid's hand. That is a danger in and of itself.
Now, there are some fireworks that are illegal all year round. There are some that are legal only during these certain periods of the year. But as we've been talking, listen, they've all got gunpowder. They're all dangerous, regardless of the legality of it. You can get hurt with these things, right?
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, there is an element of either gunpowder, black powder in this. This is essentially run around with a small bullet that can go off in your hand. So.
Wow, that's a good way of putting it into perspective. We really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for coming in to talk to us. Any last advice for families out there when it comes to any kind of 4th of July safety? I'm thinking grills, swimming pools, anything like that.
Yeah, it's the holiday. You got to have fun, but common sense. You want to make sure that you're being safe, that you can actually take care of your family and your loved ones now, and really continue to enjoy the holiday now and then all future holidays.
That's the key, too.
Yeah.
That is the key. Doc, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Time right now is 9:13. Oh, by the way, if you want to check out some firework displays done by the pros, we have a list for you over on 13wham.com.
Sure do. Stick around. When Arc Rochester returns, Stephannie Joseph will be back breaking down some of our top political headlines.
Yeah, the political pulse is coming up next.
It's time for a political pulse check here on Arc Rochester. All eyes are on the House floor ahead of a final vote on President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. Now, a live look here that you're about to see. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has spent more than 4 hours so far speaking out in opposition to that bill. Speaker Johnson is up next, but Jeffries, he's delaying the vote with this speech. The controversial spending plan is drawing criticism from Democrats. They're concerned that billionaires are being prioritized over those who need federal assistance the most. Healthcare is at the center of debates as new requirements for Medicaid could jeopardize coverage for millions of Americans. And while there are holdouts, Republicans are convinced this bill will make the country better. Neither side mincing words this morning.
I rise today in strong opposition to Donald Trump's one big, ugly bill. This disgusting abomination, the GOP tax scam that guts Medicaid, rips food from the mouths of children, seniors, and veterans, and rewards billionaires with massive tax breaks.
Because I'm proud of the yes vote that we're about to cast to help those families. But everybody who votes no, Mr. Speaker, make no mistake about it, everybody who votes no is going to be asked a question by that waitress making $32,000 a year saying, why do you want me to pay more money in my tips so that $10 billion of fraud goes out in the SNAP program?
Now, to help break down what all this means for healthcare specifically, I'm joined now by Dr. Duncan Ryan Mann, a professor of economics at SUNY Empire State. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So there is a lot to get to here in terms of what's going on with Medicaid specifically. I believe it's more than 10 million Americans that could stand to lose their coverage. But an important reason is the why element to this. What specifically is a part of the bill that would cause this to happen? So if you can lay out requirements that would be in place with this bill.
Yeah, so there are a couple of things. First, there is more paperwork involved. If this legislation passes, people will have to go through the process of verifying their eligibility for Medicaid twice a year, which may not be a big thing to some people, but does take extra time. It can be confusing sometimes. There are also another big piece is work requirements. People who are of working age, 16 to 64, 18 to 64, without a disability, are going to be required to work or be in a training program or being in an education program in order to get Medicaid benefits. That may not be that may not sound like a big requirement, but for many people in difficult lives, people on Medicaid are very, very poor. Medicaid eligibility for an individual is a little bit over $21,000 a year. For a family of four, a little bit under $45,000 a year. So we're not talking about people with significant amounts of income, and that means that these people who are the least have the least among us are going to be hurt the most. And beyond Medicaid, there are people that are buying insurance through the health insurance marketplace that was created through the Affordable Care Act. And some of the subsidies that are available through that marketplace will be going away actually just in January of 2026. So in less than 6 months now, if this bill passes. Those subsidies will be diminished, and that will make health insurance more expensive for lower and middle income people who are currently not getting health insurance through their employer but have to purchase it through the affordable care marketplaces. So that's going to become more expensive, so we're going to end up with more uninsured people, and that's going to be a problem for hospitals and the whole healthcare system.
Yeah, you spoke on a lot there. One element that I want to get to is that more expensive element to that argument here. One being the copay that may have to go up specifically for those that may not be in a position where they could afford to pay a little bit more. $30 may not seem like a lot to some people, but especially those within that income margin, it could make a lot of difference.
Correct, Stephannie. Yeah, this legislation will require Medicaid programs to impose co-payments for people buying prescriptions, going to the doctor for a checkup, things like that, up to $35, which may not seem like a lot, as you said, but for people on Medicaid on very low incomes, that can be a deterrent to getting care. And that deterrent often results in people losing access and not going to the doctor, and that results in more sickness, higher costs down the road because of the the deterrent, the loss of access to healthcare services.
And I'm wondering if another reason why healthcare may become more expensive is the competition that may be introduced into the marketplace, specifically with a lot of people losing this one element of coverage and maybe not being able to get employment-based coverage.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely, estimates are that there are going to be upwards of 12 million additional people without health insurance. That means that's not counting that's not Medicaid, without any health insurance, on top of the over 20 million people that we already have without health insurance in this country. So that's going to be a major issue for hospitals, particularly rural hospitals that rely often for a big chunk of their revenue, 25% of their revenue. A lot of New York rural hospitals rely on Medicaid patients for more than 25% of their revenue. As those revenues are reduced, and as the increase in uninsured people result in more uncompensated care, that's going to impact these rural hospitals. The expectation is that many of them are going to go belly up, maybe not immediately, but as these revenue effects take place, they're going to be in dire financial straits.
And I think one main concern, especially at the state level, is how do we support at this level? Because it was a big boost in terms of the federal government being able to help and oversee this. Do you see the states being able to help cover or help support anyone who loses their coverage?
There are very few states that are going to be able to pick up all of the slack from the lost federal revenue, the increase in uninsured people, the decrease in Medicaid revenue. I mean, these are tens of billions of dollars of impact on some individual states, and certainly billions, over billions for most states. So New York State may be able to pick up some of the slack, but certainly not all of it. It's going to be very problematic for the state, for healthcare hospitals, providers more generally, as this legislation goes into effect.
So it would seem that hospitals, as you were mentioning before, risk closure.
Absolutely. Hospitals have to basically balance their budgets. They have expenses daily. They have daily expenses that they have to meet in terms of payroll, in terms of supplies, etc. And if the revenue isn't coming in, if people if there are more uninsured people and there are fewer people with Medicaid coverage and Medicaid is paying less, then those revenues are going to be falling, and that financial squeeze is going to get tighter and tighter. And that's going to result in hospital closures.
For sure. And this bill being more than 900 pages, there's a lot to get into. And I'm sure that a lot of people at home may have not been able to see all the elements of it. Is there anything else that you wanted to point out or make sure that everyone at home knows about the healthcare aspect of this?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really impressive amount of things that are likely to be changed. It's going to impact nursing homes. The finances, over 50% of nursing homes of the residents in nursing homes are on Medicaid, and those revenues in nursing homes are going to be affected also. So that's another feature of this legislation that's likely to be very problematic down the road. So it's a turnaround from the improvements that we've seen in the healthcare system through the Affordable Care Act and some of the additional changes through the expansion of Medicaid that have occurred over the last 10 or 15 years. So we are going to be going backwards in terms of the revenue, in terms of the access to care that people have in the state and in the country overall.
Professor Ryan Mann, I want to say thank you so much for joining us this morning to provide some perspective on this. Really appreciate it. We'll be keeping an eye on the House floor as well to see when that vote will happen. But thank you again.
My pleasure. Thank you, Stephannie.
And be sure to stay with ARC Rochester for your top political headlines. We're back after this.
.28, thanks so much for sticking with us here on ARC Rochester this Thursday. The 4th of July is tomorrow, and if you're looking to buy fireworks, you may be handing over a bit more cash this year.
Yeah, for this morning's Reporter Recap, Christian Garzone took a closer look at how the tariffs have impacted firework sales.
You're going to have less bang for your buck.
Economic expert Ethan Wade with Brighton Securities says this 4th of July you might be shelling out more for fireworks. Nearly all of these sparkling devices for sale are made in China.
Right now, the average tariff for Chinese goods, it varies based on depending on what the item is around 50%. It had gotten to be as high as 145%.
13 Wham took it to the tents, now dotting the landscape locally. Those we spoke with ordered much of their supply in advance. Sam Julian on West Henrietta Road says the enthusiasm for the holiday drives people to buy.
You see the husbands and wives coming with their kids, and they still buy every year.
But are prices up? Here's vendor Jason Guck.
Overall, yes.
About 10 or 15%, he says. Guck owns the barely legal fireworks location. This one is just off Route 104 in Ontario. He says for customers, there's good news.
We've absorbed a lot of that price increase.
Jason's grandfather, Paul, says next year could be a totally different story. It all depends on how the tariff talks go.
They could go up anywhere from 35 to 135%. We don't know.
Wade says keep in mind there is also a very small manufacturing window to make fireworks in China. In the summer, operations cease because it's a safety hazard. If people in the U.S. try to pre-order stock now, they'll likely have to wait, and prices could be higher.
Next year could be an entirely different story for us.
Christian joins us now with more. We've got a little bit of a display as well here, Christian. Planning on setting these off?
No, I live alone, and I wouldn't look too cool in my front yard. Pop, pop, bang, bang, bang. It's just how it look like.
Neighbors would love you.
Yeah, they would love me up in my quiet neighborhood. But yeah, these are all made in China. I want to point something out, though, that in the package, what you saw are mostly ground-based sparklers. We say fireworks kind of loosely, but these are different. It's a different category of fireworks in New York State. So they're like ground-based sparklers, handheld sparklers, cones, party poppers, snappers, things like that. Safety still applies. with those.
Yes.
Light them and get away. Don't put a pile at your feet and smoke Virginia Slims and ash off into them.
Yeah.
Just same safety rules apply.
We were just talking about that. It's so funny that
Virginia
you...
Slims?
Yeah, actually. No,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was...
Lighting sparklers with a cigarette.
Yeah, anybody that smokes. I was reading on the New York State website today, on the governor's website, a little bit more about it. And I think it's so interesting how often we do refer to these as fireworks, but really the things that are legal are things that have to be on the ground.
Yeah, on the ground. And I did see, I want to say, some projectiles out there, like bottle rockets, stuff like that. But you're not going to see those big commercial grade, oh my God, I'm lighting the whole town up. Those are for those big displays. You see at parades and things like that. And by the way, we could see less of that this year due to some of these prices. They've increased about 10 to 15% roughly. But the good news is, you heard it in the package, a lot of these white tents are soaking that cost up, so the customer won't really feel that impact. And I saw stuff up slightly, if I remember correctly from last year. It wasn't too crazy, but as you heard, next year could be a totally different story.
Yeah.
Because there's a limited window to manufacture fireworks in China. They can't make them during the summer. And that makes sense. If you're making fireworks in the heat of the summer, things could start popping off.
It's very
Absolutely.
true.
So, if they want to pre-order, they got to wait until they start making them in winter probably. And then tariffs could be, well, we don't know.
You're saying 10 or 15% for somebody like me who I could not tell you the last time I was in one of those firework. How much do these things even cost to start?
The range goes up, down, left, and right. So I would say something like this would be maybe, I don't know, $4 or $5. And I saw stuff that was $1, $2. Some things were 50 cents. Some things were like, 20. It's like an assortment of things for $150. But you really get your money's worth, I would think, with that. That's hours of fun for the kids and the family. So the range is kind of all over the place, but you could really walk in there and come out there with a good time. You know what I'm saying? For a good $10, $15. I mean, look at this good time right here on our table. Smoke balls, everything. Look, made in China. Like 99% of these fireworks are all made in China. Yeah.
And you don't even, I don't even know legally what the process would be if somebody wanted to make fireworks in the U.S.
God, who knows what they're...
I don't know. Sorry, I put zero thought into that question. That was just word vomit that came out of my mind.
We live in New York State, so there aren't enough rules and regulations here in New York State.
I just am saying in general, all of these are made in China. I can't imagine that somebody would say, I'm going to start a firework company here. I can't imagine that.
Well, and depending on where you are in the state, there's often signs on major thoroughfares that say, come on down to insert state here.
Yeah.
And get the fireworks from Firework Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to buy them elsewhere and bring them back into the state? Is that legal?
Listen, I'm going to tell you a little story here.
Sure.
I'm a bit of the 13 wham bad boy here. As a teenager, I did go to Pennsylvania one time, and we may have brought back some fireworks.
Okay.
And I was sweating the whole time.
I don't doubt it.
Look on the state line, waiting for the state. Come out of the car. Oh my God. But people do that on the regular, I think. They go to Pennsylvania, get stuff that's maybe a little more aggressive than these, and bring them back and do whatever with them.
That's why we hear them around New Year's or late summer, the first day of school. It's not just a 4th of July thing, although the tents are.
Yeah, exactly, the tents are. And some of the stuff, ever heard of south of the border in the Carolinas, those stores? I've been to one of those. Oh my God, they got a lot of stuff in there.
Really?
They'll really light your life up. Yeah.
Wow.
Good stuff. Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I was in one of the big box stores here. Begins with a W.
Woolworths.
Yes. Right at the front of the store, big fireworks display.
Yeah.
Ground fireworks, obviously.
Yeah. Sparkling devices.
Big display for sale, and it was one of those market hours of fun for the whole family kind of thing.
Do they check your ID when you go to buy?
I don't get ID'd often, so I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Tell you what, I'll go out. I'll investigate. I'll take a look today.
I'm looking at my age, so I don't know. Everyone's like, you.
Listen, if you see her, regardless, ID her because she's going to get upset if you don't.
That was a good one, Dan.
Christian Garzone, thank you. We appreciate your time this morning.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we are getting some tips on how small business owners can persist through the rest of the year.
Hey, and don't forget, you can watch us on the go wherever you are. Arc Rochester streaming live right now on the 13WAM YouTube channel and foxrochester.com. Stick around. We're back on the other side of the break.
Welcome back. July marks the halfway point of the year, and for small business owners, it's the perfect time to take a pause and reflect. And if you're struggling to figure out what the next steps are, take a listen.
Yeah, this morning we're getting some advice on how to decide if it's time to pivot or power through. For more, we're joined now by motivational speaker Ramon Ray. Ramon, thank you so much for your time this morning. As always, we appreciate it.
Hey, Dan and Abby, thanks for having me here. It's good to be here, and what a great segment you all have had so far. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's dive in. You've got business owners. We have just hit that midway point in 2025. Kind of hard to believe, but it's downhill from here. For many, they're planning for the big sale season, which is, right around the holidays. About 3 months from now, I'm sure we'll start to see those signs go up. What do they need to know? What should we be looking at to decide if we're on the right course or if we need to pivot?
I love that, Dan. I think there's 3 things to consider. And as you know, Dan, as one who started 5 companies myself, sold a few companies, authored so many books, I think about this quite often. I think as one, Dan and Abby, is to ask, this small business owner should ask, what progress have I made so far? Do I have some meaningful sales or something measurable to give me the emotional insight, but also the reality insight of, should I keep going? Have I made progress? That's one. I think number 2 to consider is, do I really enjoy this? When I wake up in the morning, am I excited, more or less, about running the business that I have? And part of that, do I have the grit, the entrepreneurial smart hustle to keep going? And then the third point I would say, are you able to continuously learn? Running a business, Dan and Abby, is not easy. I've been doing it for a minute. And so if you're not able to continuously learn, that's when you may want to think, hey, and there's no shame, maybe I should apply for a job or reconsider or pivot how I'm doing it. But I think that, what progress are you making? Do you enjoy it? Do you have the grit to keep going? And then, are you able to consistently and constantly learn? Those are some things you want to put on a chart, yes or no, to help you decide when to pivot or not.
I imagine those are tough conversations to have with yourself. What's your advice for digesting all of that information, maybe if it's not what you are hoping to discover about yourself?
Yeah. Can I tell you a secret, Abby? With just between me and you, can I tell you a secret? I don't want to offend anyone.
I won't tell.
Okay. So here's the secret. Stay away to some part from your family and friends. Not when I say stay away, let me rephrase that. What I mean to say is ask others outside of your I support you orbit. It sounds weird, Abby, but I found that when you just stick with family and friends, people in your church or synagogue, they will give you different advice. You need to talk to somebody that has kind of no stake in your emotional feeling, but can really give you the honest truth, the honest fact, then to help you decide how the reality is at that time.
How do you then break that news? Say you have hit the halfway point and you think, this business is unsustainable for the rest of the year. We had a bad, fourth quarter last year. Things have gone downhill. The market has shifted. Things have changed. We need to shutter. How do you then make that call?
Yeah, Dan, it's excruciating. It is not easy and it's very tough. But two things I can say. One, I hope, and if you haven't, it's okay, but I hope you've been sharing the journey along the way, educating your wife or your husband, educating your kids as much as they can, letting people know the journey you've been on for the past 6 months or year or more. That's one. But then if all the things you put together, you realize this really is not working out, I think with no shame, tell your trusted circle, here's where we're at. I've tried these solutions. It's not working. It's time for me to consider something else. And I hope you support me in that decision. Any good people, Dan and Abby, they will cheer you and put their hand on your back and say, we understand, and then learn from that. And maybe it's a new business you're getting in or you're doing something else in life. But there's always day one can be again and again, as long as we're all here and smiling.
It's so important to have a good, strong support system to lift you up when you're feeling down. My question for you is, how do you not get yourself down? How do you keep that inner voice that's telling you, you're failing at this, you're not going to make it? How do you keep that out and focus on the good?
Yeah, one thing that has worked for me, Abby, and I've gone through this before, I've suffered with bouts of feeling low and depression and ickiness in life. So I'm a first person that's gone through this, but I think surrounding yourself with the right people. You don't just want cheerleaders that are going to cheer everything you're doing, but having those people that can support you, that can put their hand on your back and say, you know what, let's get back up. Let's do it again. Let me work through this with you. So I found NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. Sounds a bit wonky, but it's a real thing. Therapists and things like this, whether they're professional and or friends, those type of things, Abby and Dan, can help because we're all human. We've all had journeys. We've all had a past. We've all had issues that are kind of yucky in our life, how we grew up, how we were treated as children. And so that's the human aspect that we will bring into our business. But the key is there's hope that we can move on and get over it for sure.
Ramon Ray, thank you as always. We really appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you, Dan.
Time right now, 9:44. When ARC Rochester returns, we're taking a look at some of the stories that have people talking this Friday Eve morning.
Pick up that unprofessional paper coffee cup off the ground, Abby. We're back right after this. Time to see what's trending this morning, starting with a woman showing off a one-of-a-kind crib.
Okay, so this California woman lives in a 1,200 square foot underground bunker. Oh,
Okay.
a crib, like hey, MTV crib, welcome to my crib.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. She said that she moved from the West Coast to the West Coast from New York City and wanted to save as much money as humanly possible.
That checks out. She discovered one of her friends lived on property that had an underground bunker built, and she offered to move in and take care of the bunker and yard for just $500 a month.
Her friend agreed, and she's been living there since 2024.
It's pretty nice. It's got a master bedroom, a full kitchen, a living room, 18 bunk beds, a separate bathroom with 2 toilets and showers.
She can have a lot of sleepovers.
A lot.
Or a lot of guests. She says she saves about $1,500 a month on the average cost of renting a 1-bedroom apartment in California.
Says she doesn't plan on moving anytime soon because she loves how quiet and cheap it is.
She did say that a lot of people get weirded out when she tells them about where she lives. Okay, is there 0 video to this story?
Yeah.
Could we have drawn a picture of an underground bunker or something?
You could mime it if you want right now.
Hey, do you want to come over and hang out at my house?
Yes, it's an underground bunker. Here, you have to unlatch the step in.
It's like charades. Do you remember that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when the hurricane is coming and they're getting ready for it and they have this bunker in the bar?
No. What season is it? There's like 23 seasons of that show.
I know. It's one of the early ones.
Okay, I'm going to have to look for it. It's good?
It's really good. Ashley's laughing in my ear right now.
Ashley knows what it is.
Yeah.
All right, let's move along to a woman who makes some pretty big tips by telling little white lies.
Okay, so a waitress out in San Diego posted to social media that she keeps her own baby picture in her server book and tells restaurant goers that she's a single mom.
She even shared a fake sob story that she routinely gives.
She tells the customers that her daughter is 6 and that she had her when she was a teen. She goes on to say the father didn't want to stick around and she needs to do everything she can to support her baby. This is messed up.
Oh, is it though?
It really is messed up.
The waitress said the story works, obviously, and it works really well.
She shared that she recently raked up $400 in tips during one 8-hour shift.
That's impressive. Well, some commenters said this was amoral and it was a hack for tugging at the heartstrings. Others say that they do it too at their jobs.
That's not very authentic, relevant, and community-based.
I mean, it's community-based.
One commenter even said that they've told people they were 7 months pregnant when in reality, they just had a couple extra pounds.
Okay, so the question is it wrong?
Yes.
Would you do it?
No.
Or have you done it?
No!
I've never done it. Is it wrong?
Yes. It's
Not
wrong.
even in my Kmart days, Ashley. No, you didn't get tips at Kmart.
What about Bob Evans? You worked there.
Yes, I did work at Bob Evans. Gosh. That job. I hated rolling utensils. I was no good as a waiter. Sorry.
It's
off track. Is it wrong?
Yes, it's wrong.
Is it?
It is very wrong.
Why?
What do you mean?
Why?
Why is it wrong?
I'm a salesperson. I'm
Okay.
going to tell you a story to give you an experience because my goal is to get money from you.
That's wrong too.
Is it just like dinner and a show?
Kind of.
That is wrong also.
Listen, I don't know. I think there's a line. I think here's what I think is wrong. I think saying that, oh, I've got a sick kid at home, and this is a picture of my sick kid.
Yeah.
That is wrong.
Yeah.
Showing a baby picture of yourself and saying, listen, I'm a single mom, and you know you don't have any kids, and you know you just need some extra cash for your trip to Miami next weekend with your gal pals.
Wrong. I say it's totally wrong.
See?
I
No.
really do. Okay, what happens when they get caught in it? They get caught in the lie.
How are they getting caught in the lie?
I don't know. Let's say that they get caught in the lie.
Tell me how they're getting caught in the lie, because I don't. It's going to be pretty hard to catch somebody in that lie.
That's funny. I remember taking a photograph of a little girl that looked just like that.
I was the one
like
that
20
took
years
the
ago.
picture.
Oh wait, you were my Sears photographer?
Okay, so here's the other thing I would say. Just keep a picture of your kid, right? Like if she actually has a kid,
But
be
she
like,
doesn't.
this is
She's
my
single.
kid. This
She's single.
This is
She doesn't have.
thumbs down from me. That's
No,
horrible.
listen.
Jerk or justified? Jerk move. You know what? Like,
I'm giving you 2 thumbs up. I'm saying work it. You got to make that cash. You tell the people what they need to hear to bring home the donuts.
all right.
Moving on. According to new research, emojis can help improve your relationship.
Okay, in a new study, scientists found that the digital representations of emotions and ideas in texts and social media can boost closeness and relationship satisfaction.
Oh, okay. The study took participants and randomly assigned them to read 15 text message exchanges.
Some had emojis, others did not. They were then instructed to imagine themselves as the sender of each message and to focus on their partner's replies.
Participants rated partners who used emojis as more responsive than partners who communicated through text alone. Ugh.
The study also found that there was no difference between face and non-face emojis.
I feel like we're getting dumber as a society.
Do you use emojis? What's your most commonly used emoji?
I don't even know how to tell you.
Okay, can I just say real quick, this story would have been 10 times more funny. I tried to use the wonderful arc emoji
Whoa.
on the screen.
What is that?
That's what I was trying to read.
It was going to be so hilarious. I'm sorry it didn't.
What is that supposed
Those
to?
are all smiley faces in that lower third.
But those.
Those are all fake emoticons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use the heart thing to like things, and I use the thumbs up thing to give people thumbs ups.
Okay, hold on, I gotta find mine.
Thumbs up.
My most commonly used emoji is the red heart, followed by the crying face, followed by a sticker of Mark McLean going like this, and I usually put a Subway sandwich
In the
that.
hand?
Those are the only emojis that I really use.
Listen, use your words.
Sometimes there are no words for Mark McLean holding a Subway. Subway sandwich, I'm sorry. Sometimes there are no words.
When Arc Rochester returns, our final thoughts. Wow.
Yeah, we've got none. We're back after this.
jam. I don't keep jam in the house.
I've never done that before.
You just eat it out of the jar?
I'll get out of bed
That's
halfway through the
disgusting.
night and just spoon the jam into my mouth.
Living by yourself.
We don't. What's that?
It's a benefit of living by yourself. Just
Certainly
right out of
is. We don't have time for final thoughts this morning. We're back on Arc Rochester.
I thought she said we had 50.
Oh, I thought you said 15.
That's what I thought too.
Oh.
How much time do we have?
Now it's 30.
Now it's 30.
Past 15.
All right.
Okay, so now I should start saying this. Thanks so much for joining us here on Arc Rochester. Make sure to wake up with us again tomorrow morning starting at 4:57 over on...
It's on 13 WHAM ABC. We'll have much more live local news coming up later today. Steph and Selena Ramos will be there for 13 WHAM News at midday. Ramos, pardon me. We'll see you then.
Bye.